Oh my God, I'm 50 and I finally figured out self love. It's not about perfection, it's about being raw, real, and authentic, and embracing who we are. So I dare you to join me on this journey. I'm Tina, and you're watching Unfiltered Self Love.
And it's important, right, to have good friends who are not going to, you know, placate or people please, but they really want to support you to grow.
Yeah, that's right. So I think for you, it sounds like the support system is important to have in place for anyone who's making a decision for their lives, because what I'm going through is do what would the questions I asked, what would value me now? So if something bad's happening, or I don't know, something, life happens, right?
Yeah.
How am I going to handle this? Am I going to freak out, or am I going to just take care of it, relax, and get it done? And who can help me and support me? Because also, I don't want to lose the fact that we have emotions, and to allow those emotions to happen. And then I do the emotion, and then I observe and say, okay, don't want to be in this negative emotion very long. I want to move my vibration higher. So how do I do that? And usually it's a phone call to you or somebody else, but it's that support system that we have in place. It's important.
It's so important. I'm glad that you're focusing on that, because who are the friends we call that we trust and we know we can kind of dump what's going on, that we're not going to stay on the phone for 30 minutes complaining, but we're going to go,
Right.
this is what's going on. And then we know that friend support us to move through it, or, ask us the questions like my friend did, like, well, what are you feeling? And then I was like, yeah, I'm feeling afraid. And once we know our feeling, then we're like, okay, and what can I do about it? Well, I can have a conversation with this attorney and ask questions. Hmm. Hmm. But yeah,
But Roz, doesn't it for you, when you do talk to someone, or you observe yourself or tell on yourself, or when you're making the choice to drink the green drink and not the coffee with everybody else, right? Like those choices, what are you saying to yourself? You're like, I choose this because it supports me. Or what do you say to yourself when you're making those choices?
well, I say I'm so happy that I'm healthy and this supports me. Right now, it's such an automatic with me. Like
You wouldn't think of.
I wouldn't think of having a cup of coffee in the morning. Like only, and not because, and I like coffee. I will have it sometimes in the afternoon as like a little treat. Sometimes, not not that often. And
Yeah.
um, but what I do drink when I want something warm is this thing called kukicha tea. It's the twig. It's called twig tea too. It's it's made from the twig of the green tree, of
Okay.
the green leaf of the green.
Right. Green tea leaf. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's subtler than green tea. It has a sort of a softer taste of it, and I've been drinking that for about 30 years every morning. If I want something, not every morning, if I want something warm, sometimes I'll just go to the green sludge.
I remember when we would go on our power walks on the beach in the mornings. Oh, I do miss that, by the way. I do power walks on the city into Twickenham. But I remember you drinking the apple cider vinegar, and you had other stuff in it. And I remember at the time, Wayne, who's the holistic health practitioner, says, oh my God, that Roz, she's going to live to be over 100 because you have all these healthy habits. How long have you been doing these? You've been doing these healthy habits for most of your life, though, right?
Well, I would say I started I mean, I started in my 30s really working out at the gym a lot. And it was because I lived in a complex in New York where the gym was right downstairs. So people would go, "Oh my God, you're so committed." I'm like, good thing the gym's not a mile away or something. Right. Um, but I started then, like just knowing I wanted to keep my body looking good and healthy, right? So I started in my 30s with that. And also, actually, I'm remembering that in my late 30s, I was getting really bad migraines, and I went to a holistic practitioner, a holistic MD, actually, and she put me on a 3-week juice fast with colonics and this kind of massage. And from that point on, I became a vegan. So I felt like I got rid of all the whatever in my body. The migraine stopped. I started feeling really healthy. So that kind of, and I think I was 36 when I did that. And again, the burning thing in my mind was, God, look at my parents. They're so unhealthy. My mom was a smoker. My dad was an alcoholic and smoker. And my dad died at 60. My mom died at 78. And I'm even, so I think to myself, well, I must have really good, what do you call it?
Genes?
What's that? Genes. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's because if my mom lived to 78 doing all that stuff, God, I could live to like 120, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so communication is important, not holding on to things, trying to clear stuff, letting go of relationships, even friendships that just feel toxic. I don't speak to any of my siblings because one at a time I had to let each one go because of the toxicity.
Yeah.
And and I feel pretty peaceful. My life is pretty peaceful.
And I think the peace is important when we're trying to even self-love and rise our energy levels and not get sick, because stress gets us sick too. I mean, remember we were power walking and I was so stressed. I had to stop because I felt like I was having a heart attack.
I do.
Remember that? And I got so dizzy, I couldn't do the power walk because I was so stressed at that time of my life.
Right.
I mean, the job was stressful. The late husband was stressful. My son was smaller. Like I had so much negativity going on that walk was my out, but I couldn't handle it at that time because of all the stress. So yeah, letting go of all those. I agree. Letting go of all that and all people that you need to let go of just opens us up.
Yeah. And, when you were talking, I was just thinking a question I ask people a lot is, what are you tolerating? What are you tolerating? Because when we tolerate something, we walk into a room and we're all of a sudden, I have to tolerate this person or this situation, that creates so much stress in our bodies. Like if we could just make a list of what am I tolerating? And then just, because even making the list will bring it to mind because we know we're tolerating it. We're just automatically doing it. And I think society, it tells us, oh, you can't do that. Oh, of course you have to stay with that. Oh, my former partner, who was a really good person, there was nothing wrong with this person. It's just that I wasn't feeling happy. And I knew I knew I needed to go. And we had this beautiful house with an ocean view. And, but what I was tolerating was just feeling not what I wanted to feel,
Yeah.
The communication wasn't what I wanted, things were just not. And so doing that, my life opened up in an amazing way. It was really hard at first. really hard, my life opened up in an amazing way. And I just think we have to trust our process because we're in the earth school. We're not here to like gather and get goals and da 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 da. I mean, that's part of why we're here, but
Right.
souls are here to learn something. So how can I learn? How can I be a better person? God, I remember, I think I was in 7th grade where we had to come up with like, I forget what the prompt was from the teacher, but we were going to write something. And I wrote, know thyself.
No way.
Where did I come up with that? In 7th grade.
I know.
I wrote about, and I don't, again, she prompted us with something that triggered that for me, but
Yeah.
know thyself. And I'm like,
Wow.
my little 7th grade, little, nerdy self, like writing, know thyself. I want to know, it's so funny. So yeah,
I think the mindset though, you had a driver. It was your parents.
right.
And my driver, the reason I'm doing this is because Wayne passed away and I had this awakening and I am not going to, and I am left with a son. So I am not going to sit here in my depressed state watching TV all day in any chance I get. I'm going to live. I haven't been anywhere in Europe because I wasn't living. I want to go live. So this is what I'm doing. And I'm showing my son, this is how life needs to be. This is what life really is about. It's not about sitting there watching television. It's taking care of ourselves, saying no to somebody when it's not right for us. And that's hard for me. It's the people pleasing area of myself. My dad was a people pleaser, so I've learned his ways. And it's hard to let that go. And when I do let that go, amazing things happen. Like you're saying, as soon as you let the person go with the ocean view and you let all that go, amazing things are happening for you. So we need to make these decisions, I think, for ourselves without having that stress, taking care of your body, taking care of your health and your mind. And I mean, Roz, you're gorgeous. You are. I brag about you to people.
I love when you tell me that.
I have a baby boomer friend who is gorgeous. She looks my age. She is gorgeous.